Alright, sorry to everybody who's just joining in on YouTube. Had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. You haven't missed a whole heck of a lot. A super clean stage number one, won by Mark Gonzalez. Had a couple of quick yellows. The first one involving Ricky Gonzalez and the 27 Jonathan Cogswell, the 07 of David Mayo. We've had another a couple of quick cautions after that on the restarts, and I believe we are getting ready for the choose here. Once again, sorry to everybody just joining in on YouTube. A little bit of a technical malfunction. We're good to go. Still got 127 laps to go in this race. Mark Gonzalez continues to lead. Greg Wood, or Dylan McDonald rather, to his outside. Mark Parkhurst and Austin Missler. Greg Wood rounding out the top five, but the pace car dives in. Green flag back out for Mark Gonzalez. The outside lane doesn't get quite a fast start there. Here comes McDonald on the top side. Tried to take the lead away from Mark Gonzalez. Apologize for that as I was trying to get the YouTube figured out. It had a bit of a delay. So we're back going here again. Dylan McDonald is your leader over Greg Wood Jr. Mark Gonzalez now sits in third place. John McIntyre and Mark Parkhurst fighting hard for fifth place or fourth place right behind him. And here comes John McIntyre to the top side with a run on Mark Gonzalez. Gonzalez was pretty dominant throughout the course of stage one. Having a little bit of trouble here in the second stage. Almost a bit of a moment there with Mark Parkhurst. Here's Chris Wheeler right behind these guys trying to figure out where am I going to go. Not quite enough momentum rather to get to, almost gets to the back bumper there, the 88. Dylan McDonald leads by almost 2 seconds over Greg Wood Jr. He's got John McIntyre and Mark Parkhurst not far behind him. Mark Gonzalez continues to drop back. He's in fifth place now. Chris Wheeler trying to figure out how to get around him. We've seen him have a hot entry. Slow car on the inside lane, not going to get into anybody's way, but that 38 gets into the corner super hot. He's going to have a nice run coming up off of two, but not quite enough. Gonzalez gets a good bite on the inside. Things start to heat up here for third place. Just a car length separating all three up in the top three. And now Mark Parkhurst trying to look to the inside of John McIntyre. Potentially take that third spot, or third spot away. Right up to the back bumper. He's got a nice, easy entry. Cuts it down to the bottom. Tries to get up out of the gas as quick as he can to use up all that racetrack. That's going to be a tough line to run when you're on the inside of another driver. But right now, it's working great for that number 4. Well, while we have a moment here, we'll go ahead and give you a little turn it up. Go ahead and crank up those volumes. Listen to the sound of these race cars. Back live here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Dylan McDonald continues to lead, but Greg Wood Jr. starting to cut into that lead. It's sitting about a second and a half right now. Mark Gonzalez has a little bit more speed in the second part of this run. He's all over the back bumper of Greg Wood. Gets loose coming up off of turn 4. Stays in the gas and makes that move down to the inside. He's going to try to get back up, use up all that racetrack, but not quite enough there for him. Has to let up off the gas and let Greg Wood get back in front. Side by side for a 5th place position here. Jonathan Cogswell doing everything he can to try to take 5th away from John McIntyre and defend from that 38. 38 has been fast throughout the course of this second stage. Super hot on entry and is now trying to keep that 13 of Andrew Hurley behind him as these guys getting stacked up. I tell you what, anytime you've got a gap in front of the car in front of you, you get a little bit of frustration because you feel like, hey, if I get around this guy, I can go quicker. I can get up to those guys in front of him. I've just got to get around this guy. But it's so tough to pass here, and that's just one of those things that brings a little bit of that short track frustration out as you see a little bit of contact there between the 27 Cogswell and the 13 Hurley. Hurley now drops down to the bottom to try to take the spot away from the 2 of John McIntyre. He's going to jump up into 6th and probably get him clear coming through turn number 1 and 2. On the backstretch now, looking at trying to take that 5th spot away from Chris Wheeler. Race for the lead is getting a little bit closer, though, as we've got 25 laps to go this next time by in stage number 2, rather. And just a second now separates 1st and 2nd, and there is virtually no separation between 2nd and 3rd. Mark Gonzalez all over the back bumper of Greg Wood, just trying to put that pressure on, but Greg Wood doing everything he can to try to chase down Dylan McDonald and take that stage win. Greg Wood got about 2 car lengths on the 88 of Mark Gonzalez now. You see him riding that middle line. 3 different lines for these top 3 guys. You see McDonald working towards the outside, gets closer to the wall than either one of these guys. And well, Wood and Gonzalez are kind of trading lines through 3 and 4. One over on the middle this time and one over on the bottom. Got a big battle here in the middle of the pack. Ricky Gonzalez trying to work his way through after getting involved in some earlier contact, but he's got John McIntyre and Jonathan Cogswell right in front of him. He tries to go look through the middle 3 wide, but thinks better of it, lets up off the gas, decides I want to try to figure out which one of you guys is going forward first and just follow you on through, and it looks like that's the 27 of Cogswell. Cogswell gets clear of the 2 of John McIntyre, and now here comes Ricky Gonzalez getting clear of him too. That's for the 8th position. Ira Kohlhaas trying to defend from Austin Missler on the inside. Nice run for Ira coming up off the corner, but maybe not quite enough to stay next to the 10. That bottom side seems to be working really well right now. Half a second separates 1st and 2nd. We've got a battle for 2nd place right now as Mark Gonzalez looks down to the inside of the 78. Greg Wood, and now a couple of lap cars. That might bring Dylan McDonald right back to the 2nd too as he moves down to the inside. See a side-by-side battle for 2nd place. Mark Gonzalez working that outside lane. He's going to try to clear Greg Wood coming up off of turn number 4, and does. And now he's got a big run coming down to the inside to get around the lap car. Just a car length separates 1st and 2nd. Dylan McDonald is coming to 15 laps to go in the stage next time by, and he is hoping that he can get around Gibney Jr. and that Gibney will give him a little bit of help here, but not enough help from Gibney as all over the back bumper here. Mark Gonzalez gets himself a nice run coming up off of 2. Gibney gets loose down on the inside. Gonzalez tries to cut back down, and Gonzalez gets clipped by Gibney. Around goes Gonzalez. Greg Wood is involved. Man, we watched that happen right in front of us here. Kevin Gibney was doing everything he could to kind of try to keep his spot on the lead lap there, and Mark Gonzalez gets down, trying to cut down, make a pass to the lead, and just clips that front bumper. We're going to take a look at this in real time first off. You see Gibney rocking the inside rather. He's not really fighting hard. He got a little bit loose there coming up off of 2. Gonzalez tries to cut down to the inside, and Gibney, maybe not realizing that's the move he was trying to make, slides up the racetrack a little bit, and contact is made. That's definitely a tough break for the 88, Mark Gonzalez, along with Greg Wood Jr. getting caught up in that. So the top 3, we'll take another look at this, and then we'll let you know about pit stops here. The top 3 have stayed out. Mark Gonzalez, Ricky Gonzalez, George Jewell, John McIntyre, Blake Howell, Ira Colehouse, Chris Wheeler, Jonathan Cogswell, and Austin Missler have all come into the pits. So we're going to restart here with, should be just under 10 laps to go in stage number 2. So Dylan McDonald continues to lead this race. He's going to stay out with these 3 guys up front. Greg Wood actually staying out, doesn't think the damage is too bad there, or maybe he just wants to wait till the stage to come in and take his fast repair, take his pit stop. So we'll see if we get the choose cone this time around. Dylan McDonald, after a strong restart on that last run, was able to get around the 88 for the race lead. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties that we've had. We appreciate you sticking around here with us on Facebook Live and on YouTube. We are doubled up, though. Getting ready to take the restart here. Dylan McDonald taking the outside lane, giving Greg Wood Jr. the inside. Mark Parkhurst also on the outside. Andrew Hurley on the inside. Ricky Gonzalez will start inside row 3, along with Mark on the outside. And we've got Austin Missler, Ira Colehouse, Jonathan Cogswell. Rounding out the field, I'm sorry I missed there Zach Woods, but green flag back out in the air, and Dylan McDonald with a nice restart there. Greg Wood trying to work the inside and get around Parkhurst. Wood slides up. He's going to pull that little bit of a slider. It wasn't super close, but slides up in front of the 4, trying to work that bottom side. We saw him working a little bit of a middle lane while he was racing the 88. The 88 got to his outside. Now we'll see as Mark Parkhurst tries to jump to the top side. Greg Wood gasses her up in the middle, is able to get a nice run off, but you got to wonder if there's a little bit of horsepower down on that. Jonathan Cogswell has crashed hard into the wall along with the 60 of Zach Woods. That's going to bring the caution out. Looked like these guys just got together coming down the back straightaway. I'm not sure who came up and who came down, but 27 was on the bottom of the racetrack, and you see here he's racing side by side with the 88. Oh, and the 27 just kind of came up the racetrack there. I wonder if he thought he was clear after the 88 and was able to come back up the track, but an unfortunate deal for Zach Woods there. Nothing he could really do. Go on board with Zach Woods here as this all goes down. Yeah, there's really nothing you can do there. You just kind of get sandwiched up next to the wall, and once you get hooked like that, it sucks, but all you can do is really just drive through it and hope it doesn't tear you up too much. So Dylan McDonald leads the race over Greg Wood Jr. Mark Parkhurst sits in third. Andrew Hurley, Ricky Gonzalez, Austin Missler, Mark Gonzalez, Ira Colehouse, and George Jewell rounding out your top 10 here. Another quick thing to bring up, we do have our bracket challenge going on here. Of course, we've got Gibney versus Cogswell. Right now, Cogswell has that lead. Colehouse versus Santiago. Colehouse sits in front. Ricky and Mark Gonzalez. That one's pretty close right now. Ricky holds the lead on that. George Jewell and Mark Parkhurst. Mark Parkhurst sitting in third place. If it ended right now, he'd be the one to move on. Well, we still got 80 laps to go. Nolan Pontbrian versus Greg Wood. Greg Wood sitting in second place. He would be the one to move on right now. Blake Howell sitting one lap down. With Bill Sleep multiple laps down. Or Blake Howell, actually, I believe, is back on the lead lap. So Blake Howell sitting pretty for that spot. Dylan McDonald obviously leads the race, so he would have the spot over Missler. And Andrew Hurley sits in fourth place, so he would get out in front of McCanny. So these guys making the choose. Gonna have 3 laps to go on this restart to the end of stage number 2. Dylan McDonald leads. Greg Wood Jr. in second. Down on the inside, we've got Andrew Hurley and Mark Parkhurst. Mark Gonzalez, then Ricky Gonzalez. Ira Colehouse, and Austin Missler. Then we've got George Jewell in the 07 and Zach Woods rounding out your top 10. 3 laps to go to finish off the stage here. Pace car's about to make that hard left turn. See if Dylan McDonald can hold it off. Green flag back out in a strong start for your race leader, Dylan McDonald. Mark Parkhurst to the outside of Greg Wood, trying to take advantage of that nice run he had on the restart. Greg Wood gets a little bit loose. Parkhurst to the top side here, being followed by Hurley. Dylan McDonald gets away. A little bit of contact between Hurley and Wood going through 3 and 4. Everybody gets through okay. Hurley getting close to the back end of Wood, though, once again. Tries to move down to the inside. We're going to have 1 lap to go at the stage this time, by in 3 wide. Goes Chris Wheeler, trying to get around Ira Colehouse. And John McIntyre, 3 wide once again. Greg Wood, Andrew Hurley. Hurley on the apron. Potentially hitting the 88, a little bit of close quarters there. Dylan McDonald is going to come off of turn 4 to win stage 2. Gonzalez in second. Parkhurst scrapes the wall up off of 4th, 3 wide for 7th. Chris Wheeler gets it done at the line. Let's take that last lap back here. Or maybe last 2 laps. We've got a heck of a battle going on here for 3rd place right now. Andrew Hurley, you see there goes that big move there for the 38 of Chris Wheeler, trying to make it 3 wide down there. But here comes Hurley down to the inside. Gets down on the apron, almost comes up. I really thought he was going to hit that 88. And these guys coming up off of turn 4. Hurley is not done yet. There's that 38 Chris Wheeler. Made a nice move to the outside, and well, most of the leaders are coming into the pits. Austin Missler, though, stays out. Austin Missler came in on one of those cautions before the end of the stage, so he's got probably 10 lap holder tires than the rest of these guys, but it's not going to be that much of a difference, like, say, 30, 40 laps that we've seen making a big difference. So definitely something we'll keep an eye on throughout the course of this 3rd stage here, but we are, like I said, down into the 3rd stage here, just getting closer and closer to the end. That's going to ramp up this urgency, especially at a track like this. Bristol, the shortest track, or one of the shortest tracks we run on. It's wide, but it tightens up off the corners. It's tough to make a pass here. I'd see a little bit more of the front bumpers in use, and patience running thin here in the final stage. So your stage 1 winner was Mark Gonzalez. Stage 2, Dylan McDonald. Austin Missler leads him around behind the pace car. Mark Gonzalez, like I said, he's worked his way back up to second. We know he's got a quick car. He won that first stage. Seemed to have a longer run car throughout the longer stint of the second stage. So we'll see what he can do with the 10 of Austin Missler. Ira Kohlhaas right behind him. That's been a bad, fast Pepsi Chevy all night. Been in the middle of some really exciting action, and well, I know Ira wants to get out of that and get up towards the front, try to make a run at this win. So we double up here. The outside goes to Austin Missler. He's going to choose that. Mark Gonzalez goes to the inside. And in row 2, Jonathan Cogswell on the inside with Ira Kohlhaas to his outside. Dylan McDonald and Ricky Gonzalez, John McIntyre, Mark Parkhurst, Andrew Hurley, and Chris Wheeler, or rather Zach Woods. Actually rounds out your top 10. 16 drivers back on the lead lap. Gibb has made it back to the lead lap. After some early trouble, you know, he's going to be looking forward to trying to get up through the field here, maybe on fresher tires. But the pace car going to make that hard left turn once again. Austin Missler leads him down on the top side. Stage 3 is underway here at Bristol. And a strong run for the inside there. Mark Gonzalez clears Ira Kohlhaas, no problem. Kohlhaas coming back to the outside, trying to get a nice run. Here comes the 35 of Dylan McDonald, looking down to the inside of Kohlhaas. Dylan McDonald, your stage 2 winner, trying to get right back up to the front where he was. Gets right up next to that 29. Nice run coming up off of turn number 4. Gonna complete that pass, and Jonathan Cogswell had himself a moment coming up off of turn number 4. Still a nice run there. There's Ricky Gonzalez getting loose coming up off of 2. Cogswell, though, trying to figure out how to get around Kohlhaas. Moves down to the inside, still there looking, and now Mark Parkhurst to the top side trying to take advantage. Parkhurst not able to get a run up off the corner, neither is Ira Kohlhaas, so that gives Jonathan Cogswell a little bit more position getting down into the corner. Side by side, nose to nose, almost coming up off of 4. It seems like 3 and 4 works better for that outside lane. As now both corners working better on that outside lane as Mark Parkhurst completes the pass on Jonathan Cogswell. Dylan McDonald leads the race. Jonathan McIntyre has got himself into second, and we've got a battle for third as Missler is getting passed by Mark Gonzalez. A lot of nice battles here in the middle of the pack. Chris Wheeler trying to figure out how to get around Cogswell, while Ricky Gonzalez tries to regather himself after a sketchy moment coming up off the corner just a few laps ago. Side by side, just in front of these guys is Parkhurst, Cogswell, Missler, and Ira Kohlhaas are all under a blanket here. Chris Wheeler trying to work his way into the mix. Works to the top side of Mark Parkhurst and is looking to be able to complete that pass as the 10 gets sideways coming up off of turn 4. That gives the 38 a chance to get up top of him too. Austin Missler struggling right now on the bottom and sideways there off the top. It was the 38 of Chris Wheeler. Like I said, these guys are on the edge of control as you see 2 of them coming up off of 2. The 10 and the 5 both coming up off the corner there. Rather coming off of 4. We've got ourselves a lot of racing action going on here as we look a little bit further back. Wes Fuller, we saw him get a little bit sideways coming up off the corner. He's trying to defend for the 60 of Zach Woods, and Blake Howell, the driver we saw being so fast earlier, almost touches the back of that 60 car, trying to work his way back up through the field, back on the lead lap after some early trouble. And we've got ourselves some 3-wide action almost with Ira Kohlhaas defending on Chris Wheeler. See, Mark Gonzalez just in front of this bunch hasn't quite been able to work the gap he wants to, but with these guys being side by side, that'll probably help him get away just a little bit. Just as I say that, you see the 38 gets clear of Ira Kohlhaas. Chris Wheeler has been wheeling it tonight at Bristol and is working his way up to that top 3, trying to get himself a podium spot. John McIntyre is your race leader. He got around the 35 Dylan McDonald. McDonald trying to chase him back down, but that 2 car seems to be dialed in. He's working a little bit of a middle lane, coming back down up off the corner, and that seems like a really nice handling race car. These drivers doing everything they can to use up all the racetrack coming up off the corner. Mentioned it enough tonight. It is so tough when you've got somebody on your outside to try to get that run up off the corner. You've got to tighten it up so much more because there's, I mean, realistically, there's probably 10 feet of racetrack you can't use, and it makes a huge difference. As you see Chris Wheeler trying to chase down Gonzalez, and the rest of these guys definitely not far behind. As Ira Kohlhaas, you see getting a nice run on Mark Parkhurst, trying to take that 5th position away. Coming up off of turn number 2, Parkhurst still at the door, trying to do a little side drafting maybe as these guys tighten up coming up off the corner. Both drivers avoiding action, and we've got another pass to the lead. Dylan McDonald gets right back around John McIntyre. So maybe a mistake out of the 35. Put the 2 out front, but clearly the 35 is handling well right now, able to get out front. We've got 50 laps to go this time, coming to 49 laps to go, and here comes Mark Gonzalez trying to take 2nd place away from John McIntyre. McIntyre putting up no fight, and now Mark Gonzalez has nobody between him and the leader. Seeing Josh Pontbriand has crashed, but there is no caution on the Speedway yet. Jumped to the pits right away. Might have been an off-track incident, so no flag out of race control. We stay green. Dylan McDonald holds the lead by about half a second over Mark Gonzalez, but Gonzalez is hungry. He's chewing into that lead, and Chris Wheeler not far behind, trying to save his tires and hope there's something left for him at the end to take a bite of. Mark Gonzalez inching closer and closer. The gap is now 3/10 as they go through turns 1 and 2. There's 1 lap car in front of these guys. That's Bill Sleep in the 62. He's multiple laps down. Shouldn't really play into effect here unless these guys catch him at a bad time. But here comes Mark Gonzalez looking down to the inside. He's at the bumper of that 35, looking inside as they work through the lap traffic of Bill Sleep. That gives the advantage just a couple car lengths to that 35. Here comes Chris Wheeler in the 38. I believe that's a teammate. Trying to make it a 3-horse race for the lead as Mark Parkhurst also gets around that lap car and is able to clear him, the top 4, now not separated by any cars. Mark Gonzalez with a nice run coming up off of 4. Looks down to the inside, going down into turn number 1. Works that bottom well, but here comes Dylan McDonald with a run up on the outside. Gonzalez stays even, coming off of 2. Through 3 and 4. Who's got the better run? Gonzalez slides up. Gonzalez gets loose, has to let out of it. We watch this race for the lead as it's heating up. Andrew Hurley is in a world of cars right now. He's trying to get through this entire pack right now. He's racing Jonathan Cogswell right now. Greg Wood and Ira Kohlhaas racing just in front of him. And Ricky Gonzalez trying to figure out how to work that bottom line around both of them. Mark Gonzalez looking back to the inside, but he's just not quite able to do enough with the outside run that Dylan McDonald is getting. Looks back inside. I'd like to believe that 88's handling a little bit better than that 35 right now. We saw how before that last stage ended, how the 88 was able to work down off the top side and try to make a move as the lap car is going to get in the way. That's going to mess up the entry of the 35. The 08, I believe, of David Mayo trying to stay up top, stay out of the way, but they just caught him at a bad time, and now Mark Gonzalez doing everything he can to try to make that inside work once again. These guys have gapped Chris Wheeler by almost a second. We're under 40 laps to go. Like I said, these things click away, and especially time flies when you are having fun. This race has been an absolute blast. See, good luck Dylan McDonald from Joseph McDonald. So potentially some family rooting for family here. Dylan's got himself a huge battle right now as Mark Gonzalez looks to the top side, trying to figure out what run he can take. Now he looks down to the bottom, coming up off of 2. Gets to the bumper, gets to the door into 3, but slides up off the bottom. What kind of run does he have off of 4? He continues to get loose up on that inside of Dylan McDonald. These guys got 3 lappers coming up in front of them that are all racing hard for position. John McIntyre has fallen back quite a ways. Ryan Douglas just behind Kevin Gibney here, and looks like that's Nolan Pontbriant potentially in the 97. Right in front of our leader, Dylan McDonald, is Mark Gonzalez. Looks down to the inside one more time, trying to pull even through 3 and 4. A little bit straighter on exit this time, and a little bit of contact just in front of him. The 24, the 97 get together just a bit. Just enough to slow down the 88's momentum. And now Dylan McDonald has got himself another moment to breathe, but through these lap cars, Bill Sleep up top once again. Here comes Gonzalez looking down to the inside. He's got a nice run coming up off of 2. Where does the lap car Kevin Gibney go? Gibney to the bottom. Gonzalez to the bottom as well. Not quite enough momentum for McDonald to clear. Now McDonald is next to the 31. Mark Gonzalez is doing everything he can to try to make this pass happen. Lap cars are not working in his favor. Gonzalez into the wall above a 4. Dylan McDonald has done everything right so far. He's got just under 30 to go, coming to 29 laps to go this time. Mark Gonzalez has been on rails all night, but that 35 car is able to keep him back there. That is a huge ask, especially given this late in the race and how fast that 88 is, especially working through all this lap traffic as well. As you see the 2, McIntyre just in front of these guys, getting up into the wall. 3 wide moment there for your race leader. And now the 88 gets stuck up behind the 2. Tries to cut down to the middle, and now he's stuck again. Angel Santiago doing everything he can to give room, but there was just nowhere for the 88 to go, and there's a little bit of contact. Caution is out. Kevin Gibney Jr. has gone around. And this changes everything. So you see Gibney trying to get away. We'll go ahead and take a quick look, try to figure out what happened. We saw him racing up front with the leaders. See that 38 Chris Wheeler right behind him. Looking to the top, seems to be much quicker. We know that 38's got a phenomenal entrance here. We'll see what happens here. Yep, dives it in there, and that's just a tough deal. You know, you're trying to get around a lap car, and you know, you see these guys racing as hard as they are. A lot of guys getting up into the wall trying to get around that 31. But you know, you see these guys racing as hard as they are in front of you, and you're just trying to do everything you can to not lose time. And that's a tough break there for Kevin Gibney Jr., who just got back on a lead lap not long ago and is now once again on the bad side of trouble. So we've got some pit stops happening. Chris Wheeler, Dylan McDonald. Well, I think just Chris Wheeler stayed out. We'll take a double check here. Yes, Chris Wheeler, the only one to stay out here. He's going to inherit the race lead. Dylan McDonald gets out in second. Mark Gonzalez in third. So we'll see what these guys have on fresh tires compared to the leader, Chris Wheeler, on much older tires, probably 50 laps older tires. Kevin Gibney Jr. going one lap down once again after that contact, and once again a tough break for him. He's been on the receiving end of a couple of deals tonight. Obviously not the day he wanted, but your Daytona winner still trucking along one lap down. And we mentioned we've got our mid-season tourney. Gibney's against Cogswell. Cogswell is sitting in 6th place right now, 1 lap ahead of him. We're just getting close to 20 laps to go. We got 23 as the leader crosses the line now, and these guys take the choose. Chris Wheeler takes the inside lane, so we'll have 22 laps to go when we take the green flag here. And, well, I know we've got some Dylan McDonald fans in the YouTube chat. Joseph McDonald, rooting for him. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in on Facebook as well. Again, sorry for the delay on the YouTube stream going live, but we're here now. We've got 22 laps of fantastic Bristol action coming your way. Chris Wheeler leads Dylan McDonald, Greg Wood, Mark Gonzalez, and Andrew Hurley to round out your top 5. Green flag back in the air, and a phenomenal restart from Chris Wheeler in that 38. Good restart for Greg Wood in the 78 on the inside as well. We'll see if that 38 Dylan McDonald is able to get up to the top side of him, and he is. And he's going to take the lead from Chris Wheeler, no problem. Wheeler slow on older tires. Here comes Wood down to the inside. Makes it 3 wide, and now here comes Parkhurst to the top side. That 38 is falling back. Chris Wheeler potentially regretting that decision, as now he's got a gaggle of cars behind him. There goes the 5 trying to get down to the inside. Wes Fuller gets around. George Jules stuck behind. Jules doing everything he can to get down to the inside, and Ira Colehouse doing everything he can on the outside. Blake Howell also working that outside, the 38, dropping spots like a rock in the water. Dylan McDonald holds the lead. Fastest lap of the race goes to Mark Gonzalez that last time around with a 14:65. Going purple for the whole session. We've got 18 laps to go this time as these guys cross the line. And we've got another spin. No flag. Mark Gonzalez all over the back bumper. And around goes McDonald. The caution comes out. Around goes McDonald off the front bumper of Mark Gonzalez. Try to take a look, see what happened here. Mark Gonzalez sitting about 2 car lengths back, gets a huge run through 3 and 4. It closes up another car length, and a nice run coming up off of 3. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough deal. I want to say he's getting in there trying to defend from the 78 right behind him, but it's kind of one of those bang-bang plays. Take another look from the wider angle here as these guys work through turns 3 and 4. You see the run that the 88 is able to get coming up off of 4. Maybe a bit of a sideways coming up off of 4 for the 38. But Wood moves down. Gonzalez moves down and gets into the back of the 38. So a tough break for Dylan McDonald there. He was really hoping to come away with a win there after leading so many laps in the 3rd stage. Racing Mark super hard. That's kind of the way short track racing goes. There's going to be contact, and definitely a tough break for the 35 there. Dylan McDonald able to get back out, still on the lead lap. That definitely hurts his chances in our mid-season tourney here, where every week is a battle. He's battling Austin Missler. He's about 6 spots rather, behind that 10 car. If he wants to advance to round number 3 at Worldwide Technology Raceway, he's going to have to gain some spots here in these last 12 laps. If you've got 13 to go this time, I think we'll take the choose. So that should leave us 12 laps to go this time. Lights are still on the pace car, so we'll go ahead and delay that by a lap. Should be 11 to go with the restart. Mark Gonzalez leading over Greg Wood, Mark Parkhurst, Andrew Hurley, Jonathan Cogswell, Austin Missler, Wes Fuller, Ira Kohlhaas, Blake Howell, and John McIntyre. And all these guys want to take home a Bristol trophy. This is, I mean, it's one of the more historic tracks on the NASCAR circuit. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it was built in 1960. First NASCAR Cup race was in 1961. So over 61 years old this racetrack is. And it's been through a lot of history. You know, it's seen a couple different surfaces. We've gone back and forth between concrete and asphalt a couple of times. So we still don't have one to green yet. Gone back and forth between asphalt and concrete a couple of times, but since the mid-90s, we've been on concrete. It's been that way ever since. Used to have 36 degrees of banking. They reprofiled it in 2007 to max out at 28. I believe it's 24 or 26 on the inside, but it's a progressively banked track now, which is why you see so many runs happening on the outside. But one of the most beautiful racing facilities in, I'd say, all of the world. I mean, it is a stadium with a half-mile racetrack inside of it. And I know tomorrow night in the Cup Series race, we'll take a look at the stands, and probably won't see many empty seats, many empty benches as these guys lined up, getting ready for a restart. It'll be 10 laps to go. But yeah, Bristol is one of the best tickets you can get in all of NASCAR. And, well, these guys are putting on a show tonight. Definitely showing why it's one of the best. But Mark Gonzalez trying to be the best right now. Leads the race over Greg Wood, Mark Parkhurst, Andrew Hurley, Jonathan Cogswell, Ira Kohlhaas, Austin Missler, Blake Howell, Wes Fuller, and George Jewell. Running out your top 10. Pace car goes in. Green flag is out with 10 laps to go, and a phenomenal restart there out of the 88. Gets about 2 car lengths clear, getting down into turn number 1 over Greg Wood. Sitting side by side for 4th, and now a huge run for the 4, Mark Parkhurst. Andrew Hurley doing everything he can to try to make an inside run for 2nd place. Slides up just a bit, coming up off the corner. That gives a chance for Mark Parkhurst on the outside. Jonathan Cogswell trying to follow through. Ira Kohlhaas on the inside. Not a lot of momentum. Here comes Blake Howell with a huge recovery from an earlier problem. He's working the outside. Ira Kohlhaas. Andrew Hurley slides up in front of Cogswell. Now we're 3 wide down the front straightaway. Into the wall goes Blake Howell. Sideways is Ira Kohlhaas. There was a little bit more contact towards the back. Angel Santiago has spun around, and that's going to bring a caution out one more time. Getting towards the end here. There was a lot going on into turn 1 and a lot going on in reaction to what we were watching here on the screen. So we'll take a look. So Howell and Kohlhaas get together. The 2 gets sideways. The 5 gets turned around. And wow! The 38, Chris Wheeler, just piles right into there. Take a look, see here from Wes Fuller. And around also goes 35, Dylan McDonald. Huge hit there for Chris Wheeler. We are setting up for a shootout here. 5 laps to go this time. We stand under caution. Gotta say, we're looking at a green-white checker. It might be a natural one. Still within regulation, but I believe we'll only get 2 laps to green when we get going here. So, Mark Parkhurst, gotta hope for another phenomenal restart. No cautions and no mistakes. Or Mark Gonzalez, rather. Mark Parkhurst, sitting in 3rd place, has to hope for a big mistake out of the 88. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Mark Gonzalez leads the race. Greg Wood in second. Mark Parkhurst in third. Your stage 1 winner was Mark Gonzalez. He mentioned leading the race. 10th place, Dylan McDonald, your stage 2 winner. Trying to make a little bit of a recovery after getting involved in that last incident. But with only 2 laps to go, it's going to be a tough one. We'll see if the lights come out this time to give us a natural green-white checker, or if we go into overtime. Choose code happening right now. 1 to green this time. We've got 2 laps to go at the restart. And once again, this is a natural green white checker. This is within the 200 lap time or distance. So this is not one of our overtime attempts. We do get 3 of those, just in case things get a little bit crazy here on this restart. Kind of hoping they don't, but it's Bristol, baby. These guys are out here for a win. Andrew Hurley is going to be super hungry there in third. We've seen him working through the field. Pace car dives down to the left. Green flag is in the air. A bump from Hurley to the 88 of Gonzalez. Gives the 88 a nice lead. Greg Wood on the outside trying to cut back down and maybe take away a little bit of momentum coming up off of turn 2. Doesn't seem to be helping him much. We're 3 wide right now. Dylan McDonald, George Jewell. White flag is in the air for Mark Gonzalez. The next flag ends the race. Gonzalez holds the lead. Greg Wood trying to dive in the corner, get a nice run up off the corner, and it's not going to be enough. So they go through 3 and 4, trying to work that middle side one more time. Mark Gonzalez is going to come up off of 4 and win at Bristol. And a huge crash to end the race. Mark Gonzalez wins. Greg Wood second. Mark Parkhurst in third. That's your podium after a phenomenal 200 laps here at Bristol. Gonzalez gets himself a hit there from Kevin Gibney. Let's go ahead and take another look at that restart there as we see them getting bunched up. We'll also try to bring our winner here, Mark Gonzalez. Not seeing Mark quite yet. We'll see if we can get Mark Parkhurst up in here. Hey Mark, it's Liam up in the booth. Well, first off, man, you've, well, I mean, a 3rd place finish doesn't quite tell the entire story of your night. You were working your way through that top 10 quite a bit. Kind of talk about how that car was handling and what it was like working through traffic. Yeah, like I said, you definitely put on a strong run, finishing 3rd, passing a lot of cars, and well, who do you want to thank for such a strong performance here? Yeah, absolutely fantastic run for you, and definitely hoping your mom pulls through and is feeling better soon. Definitely appreciate talking to you, and congratulations once again on your 3rd place finish. Well, that was your 3rd place finisher, Mark Parkhurst. Gonna go try to go 3-2-1 here with interviews. Is looking for Mark Gonzalez there. Go ahead and bring Greg Wood Jr. up into the booth. Oh, sorry. Hey Greg, it's Liam up at the booth. How you doing? Doing pretty good, man. You got yourself a second place finish, but you had a lot to overcome in there. Kind of walk us through that bit of contact you had that might have damaged your front end, and the decision to stay out with that towards the end of stage 2. Well, you definitely had a good recovery. You worked your way back up to the second place. Walk us through those last couple of restarts you had there racing the 88. All right. Well, we apologize. You had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but definitely appreciate you talking with us, Greg. You had yourself a phenomenal run there. Who do you want to thank?
First and foremost, thank the wife for tolerating me while I do this. Thank everybody on Team PGR, Angel putting on the league and everything. You guys for broadcasting, and of course Pulse Graphics, which is my company. Anything real life or iRacing, real life wraps, banners, signs, everything. Just hit us up on Facebook.
Rock on. We definitely appreciate you joining us and talking with us a little bit, and wish you the best of luck next week.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Well, sorry about that. We cut the tail end of the interview there with Greg Wood. Unfortunately, we aren't able to get with our race winner, Mark Gonzalez, right now. So we'll go ahead and run through the results here. Winning the race, Mark Gonzalez. Greg Wood finishes second. Mark Parkhurst in third. Andrew Hurley in fourth. Jonathan Cogswell in fifth. Austin Missler sixth. Ira Kohlhaas seventh. George Jewell in eighth. Dylan McDonald in ninth. And Blake Howell rounds out your top 10. Wes Fuller, Chris Wheeler, Angel Santiago, Zach Woods, and Kevin Gibney Jr. to the top 15. And then we've got Ricky Gonzalez, Ryan Douglas, John McIntyre, Nolan Pontbriand, David Mayo, Bill Sleep, Josh Pontbriand, and that'll round out our field here today. So we definitely appreciate everybody sticking with us. I know used to having Mike up in the booth, had a little bit of technical difficulties here with me, but appreciate you guys sticking it out, and hope everybody enjoyed the racing that we got to see here today. I thought it was a blast, and I tell you what, I can't wait for next week at Worldwide Technology Speedway. So, for Sim Racing Media, this is Liam Irving. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in.